Well, good afternoon, everyone. Just looking over at that audio meter, and everything's live. My name is Scott with Phantasma, and boy, am I excited today. We have Joseph and StJohn from Blood Rune, and my gosh, wait till we get into some of the stuff that they're going to be sharing with you today. I am so excited. This game has got a very unique story, and it actually parallels a story a little bit that of Godey. But once you start to hear it, you'll understand what I'm talking about and why I'm so excited to be sharing the time and have the privilege to share the time with these gentlemen and team from Illuminated Entertainment. Now, Joseph, you may have seen his face a few times in the community. Joseph is a part of the Phantasma think tank and invests quite a bit of his time into the blockchain. But he's a part of this blockchain because of his connection to Blood Rune, and we're going to share a little bit and hear that story. And StJohn, I met him a few days ago after lining up this event, and we've had a couple of different meetings since then, and I've done my research, and I don't know what to say. His experience is incredible. He's developed and worked for THQ and Dreamworks, and worked on the game Incredible 2, and did some contract work through Disney, and some of the titles, I'll let them name drop some of the titles that this team has got experience in, and it's just fascinating. Us at Phantasma, we have the best video games that running on any blockchain on the planet right now, and this game is second to none. Well, literally and figuratively, because there really isn't much of a competitor, but once you understand the story behind it, it's just fascinating. So on that note, I won't take any more time, but Joseph and StJohn, gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Hey Scott, nice to be here. Hey soldiers.
Yeah. What's up,
Scott,
man?
thank you so much for the warm introduction, and special thanks to Scott and to the Phantasma Chain for having us.
Yeah, well, we're excited to have you a part of our chain, and what you guys are going to accomplish is pretty awesome. And so, Joseph, you were telling me your story, man, where you've got a sales and marketing background, yep, and your experience, and you got into blockchain and started to connect some dots, and I thought that was an awesome story to be able to share.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I have a marketing degree. Been working with marketing most of my life with skateboarding, action sports. Got into blockchain. My friend actually had a company set up an ICO, and he told me like, hey, invest in my ICO, and that was right when the 2017 bull run was happening, and stuff. So got into blockchain, started working for another company that was doing an ICO, and been doing some stuff for other blockchain companies also throughout the years. So, and then I discovered Phantasma, and I've always wanted to get into the gaming industry, looking up to StJohn, and I think that I was trying to figure out how I can utilize blockchain to make my own game. So I started, looking for solutions, because I know that, Ethereum is not sustainable. So I looked into like Engine, and I liked them, but then I figured out that I couldn't use them. And then I found Phantasma, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And
I'm going to stop you quickly. Why couldn't you use Engine?
Well, it just costs too much money. I mean, just gas fees, and then that you have to pay. You have to mint the coins, actually, to infuse them into the NFTs themselves and stuff. So it's just too much of a cost for, like, if I wanted to be an indie developer and just do that myself, And so I kind of gave up on that idea. Found Phantasma, and StJohn happened to. We had a conversation, a phone call, and he had brought up this game that he's been working on a long time, and he's he's doing it's a card game and all of this stuff, and I just it's a light bulb, and this is like Phantasma, and this game. So I said, NFTs on Phantasma Chain, let's do it. Showed him everything about Phantasma, why it's better than other chains to mint NFTs on, to have a game on. So I'd done all that research already, so I was pretty much an expert at the point, and been an NFT fan for a long time now, and it's a privilege to be able to bring that into a game, and Phantasma was the choice, so the only choice.
That's amazing, dude. That's really neat.
Thanks.
So you get all this experience in sales and marketing. You recognize the aspects of value and communication, and then you learn about some blockchain technology and start to unwrap what that can do. And within your own family, you would mention it yourself that you look up to StJohn, and you connected the dots and realized that he had a vision for a game that you now have you discovered or uncovered a solution that could bring this game to life.
Exactly.
Wow, that's awesome, and
it's a perfect match.
It is, and I guess before we hear your story, StJohn or Saint, I made the mistake and I called you Saint John yesterday, and I was speaking with somebody today, and he goes, "Oh, is that Saint John guy?" And I said, "No, that's StJohn, or Saint." So welcome, man.
Right on. Thank you so much. No worries. So it turns out that I was blessed with a really weird name. My mom was a huge fan of literature and somewhat of an Anglophile, so we all got Irish names. I was named for Oliver St. John Colon, an Irish poet. The name is as a Franco-Norman origin. So originally it comes from the French, Saint-Jean, but little history lesson, in 1066, when William the Conqueror defeats Harold at the Battle of Hastings, it brings on 150 years of French rule in England, and the entire English aristocracy learns the French language, and so that's how the name works its way into England. So that's the history of my name. It's spelled St. John, but it's pronounced StJohn.
That's interesting. I'm half French, and I come from Northern Ontario. We're a very French community, and born and raised. I didn't go to any English school until third grade, and so we learned a lot of that, but never spoke French at home. So it was kind of a quasi weird thing, and it's always nice to learn a little bit, some aspects of the history, and get a little history lesson.
English doesn't borrow from other languages so much as it lurks in the dark, following other languages down dark alleys, hits them over the head, and rifles through their pockets for spare vocabulary.
And butchered as much as we can. There's one language that's butchered. It's definitely Anglophones. Yep. Yeah, that's awesome, man. So, it's checking out your website and checking out some of the products that you've worked on, and that's extremely impressive. I can't think of another game other than Goaty that has that experience on a blockchain anywhere on the planet. It's fascinating.
Well,
and sorry to put you on the spot, but what are some of these titles you worked on?
Well, it turns out I've dedicated my life to games, and so it's by no stretch of the imagination am I a stranger to any of these things. I first got into games when I graduated from UCLA, and I joined a small little company called Square that was finishing up Final Fantasy VII. And there I worked on Parasite Eve. And once we shipped that title, they shut down the US studio. So my next gig was with THQ, where I did 3 Disney Pixar games, 3 SpongeBob games, a Scooby-Doo game. And then after that, I did some of my own independent mobile titles, which none of which were acquired by Google, but all of which were profitable, and I learned an incredible amount of production experience and building teams. And from there, I went on to work at DreamWorks Animation, doing research and development in virtual reality. And then after that, we jettisoned and formed a company called Spaces, where we went on to do virtual reality for theme parks. So my whole life has been games, and I can also shamelessly say that I've been a medievalist all my life. Since the age of 16, I've been swinging swords out in the battlefield. Every Saturday, you go out in the field, put on your armor, sword, shield, hit, like you do. And I've also been part of a D&D group that's been running since nonstop every Sunday since 1992. I'm currently in 3 different game groups. I've got a Tuesday game group, a Sunday game group, and a Friday video game group. So
let's talk about D&D for a second here, okay? I played that when I was a child, and I became a father and a coach, a hockey coach, and that became my family. And one thing I've learned is a lot of geeks, a lot of nerds like to grow up and coach their kids in sports that they don't know anything about. And so I came across a lot of hockey friends, and we actually have played D&D at, past the age of 40. And I thought we were the only ones. And, starting to talk about it and recognizing that that's a legit pastime for, us geeks, us nerds. We've grown up, and you're much more involved than myself, but even for me, and I thought this game is going to connect that audience with the digital world. How did it come about?
This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Video games today, if you look at games and board games combined, they are more than 3 times the global revenue as global box office. 3 times bigger than movies. So it's absolutely huge. And board games hit a massive milestone this year. Board games now accounts for 7% of the global revenue from all games combined. And that's mobile games, console games. So board games is kind of a big deal. And D&D is also a big deal. D&D is now all the rage. You've got groups like Critical Role that are just killing it on YouTube, and everybody wants to learn how to play D&D. But D&D is really hard. You've got to learn stacks of stuff. And the dream with Blood Rune is, can you have a rules light card game that you can play over your lunch break? A typical campaign, a typical adventure only runs about 60 minutes. A quick fight will be about 20 minutes if you want to do just a fast little pickup fight. And generating a character is wicked fast. It's typically about 5 minutes to generate a character, because you're just generating a character archetype and choosing a mother and a father, which will grant you your major and minor feat, choosing a family, and then you pick your skills, and that's it.
And I think that's a competitive advantage that you've got, and you designed some of this game around short sessions. I believe that was a precipice to the creation of this game. That D&D, we're 4 or 5 hours a session. And you can't, it's almost hard to play it less than 3 hours and to coordinate all these people, and we've all got to be in one spot. Blood Rune overcomes some of that because it's got the remote element. Share a little bit about the vision for the game, and then maybe what we'll do is we'll transition into sharing your screen, because I think you've got a display to show off a little bit, and actually some of this gameplay and stuff that I know has never been seen on the internet before. So yeah, let's hear a little bit about the story, and then let me know, and I'll switch scenes.
Absolutely. So the vision of the game is to serve a number of different markets. And one market I've already talked about, which is you grew up playing D&D as a kid, but now you've got a job, you've got kids, you don't have time. And is it possible to have a compelling role-playing experience during your lunch break? And the answer resoundingly is yes, you can. And then there's also a new generation of D&D fans that really, really crave the legacy role-playing experience. And sure, you want to have a quick pickup game. You also want to be able to play online with your friends in a familiar format, especially since we're all stuck at home. And with Blood Rune, you can do that too. But it is a legacy card game, so it appeals to the casual player that wants to just do a couple of tournaments and pick up fights. But you're also taking a character that has started as maybe a brave street urchin or the squire to a landed knight, and you're going through all these adventures, and every time you surpass the challenge of an adventure, you'll get experience points. You can level up your character, and then you'll come into the next session with new powers, new skills, new weapons. So you could do 3 or 4 sessions in an all-night campaign if you want, because one of my fondest memories as a kid was staying up all night and watching the sunrise, having played D&D all night. You can do that with Blood Rune as well. So the game is super flexible. You can use whatever play style you want. And when I was telling this to Joseph in our now famous phone call, I expressed the frustration of not being able to connect a physical card game where you had a character, and you wanted to have this character not only something tactile and something in your hand, but also something that you could track easily online, like in a library on your phone, and then put into a digital format so that you could have an online game with your friends on your iPhone or iPad or computer, whatever format you want to use, and how to track all that stuff. And Joseph said, dude, there's a new chain out there that can do that, because all the other chains are you can't spin up that many tokens. There's 500 cards in the core set, but this one company, Phantasma, has solved the problem, and they can spin up tokens on demand for fractions of a cent, and that was it. So I knew at that moment that we really had something special. So that's how we partnered up, and that's how we got here.
That's like that. I think that's an extremely key point, because we were hearing this from a highly experienced development team, and it's the exact same thing that we hear from our other dApp partners. There's some discussion going on right now in the chat room in regards to Ethereum and an engine, and Joseph, you recognize that right from the get-go, and boy, what an opportunity for you that you always did want to work in the video game world and didn't have the development experience. I feel your pain as a marketing and salesperson myself. Sometimes I often wonder, all that education that I got in my degree, really didn't develop, programming, because I actually took computer programming. But let's switch over here, StJohn. I'm going to get you over and get your screen fired up. And there we go. You should be live. Well, you are live.
All right. Let me know when I'm full.
No, you're full screen.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Well, so 80% screen.
So the one thing I can't stress enough is that our core mission is to make an amazing game, because we know that if we make a really, really super compelling game, then the gamers are just going to flock to it, and we'll have a really, really robust community that is super into the game, buying and trading cards, and we're really, really looking forward to a robust marketplace. But let me introduce the game to you. And I do happen to have a little setup here, so let me share that now. And look at that. So.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So effectively, the way that the game works is it's all done with playing cards, tokens, a series of special dice that have special markings on them, and then you can, of course, get your own little minis. Everything is done standard. A lot of care has gone into making sure that everything in the game works with standard equipment. So, for example, I have here everything is using you've got all sorts of aftermarket products that you can get to store all of your cards. Everything uses standard sizes, because there's already a wealth of really, really great products out there that we want to support, and this will make things really, really easy for collectors. So the way the game works, as I had mentioned, is you roll up your character by choosing a character archetype. And so for today, I'm going to be playing the Outlaw. And the Outlaw has a number of bonuses, one of which is an extra die in body, as well as a number of other virtues and flaws related to their goals, their curse, their gift, and their trap. Those will come into play for role-playing purposes. During the game, there's all sorts of moments that will compel players to role-play with one another. So, for example, if you draw a complication, the complication might be that you've been approached by an agent of the shadow, and you have to choose whether you're going to rat out your friends, and so you have to make a choice. You either can rat out your friends for extra experience points, or you can stay loyal, and then you'll gain momentum, but you will lose the opportunity for experience. So I'm really looking forward to these role-playing moments with characters in the game between players. So what I've done here is I've put together a little tableau. You pick your archetype. You've got your 4 key stats. You've got mind, spirit, heart, and body. And they describe your intellect, your determination, your agility, and your stamina and strength. And for today's demo, I've gone ahead and leveled up the character so that the character has a 2 mind, 2 spirit, 3 heart, and 3 body. Still pretty first level, actually. This is a distribution that you can get with a starting character. I've also got some brigandine armor, a longbow, a longsword, a shield, and I've chosen 4 skills. And I've also gone ahead and leveled up the skills as well. You can see here.
Now, just so everything that we're looking at here, the longbow, for example,
yes.
Will that be an NFT? And how does?
That's a great question. So the cards effectively fall into one of 4 categories. There are common cards, rare cards, legendary cards, and epic cards. The common cards have an infinite number, and these are all common cards that you see here. The common cards ship with the core set, and they're common cards because they are the cards that are required to play the game. The epic, legendary, and rare cards are all going to be things like magic items, monsters, all sorts of rare artifacts. These are all the things that you can find and discover on adventures, and that you'll get as rewards for completing adventures. They'll have strange and powerful effects, and then some of them are going to be quite rare. In fact, we're going to be shipping a number of unique items, and those will be things like flaming longswords and wands and stabs and even artifacts such as the skulls of prophets and perhaps even some trap demons. So lots of super interesting stuff to discover. So what you're seeing here, this effectively constitutes the character. You can arrange them in your notebook, and so you only need about 2 pages to run your character. I've got them opened thusly so that we can see how they all work. I've got everything leveled up, and I've also got a little sample encounter here. So, before we start, let me just show you how some of the legacy aspects work. You can see here that I've got the longbow stat. I've got it leveled up to a level 2, and I've started putting in another experience point into the 3rd slot, but I don't have enough experience points to get to level 3 yet. So I only have a level 2 in my longbow for this fight. So let's see how this works. You're laying down terrain cards, and as you reveal terrain cards, you're moving into a new area, and you've discovered a crypt where apparently blood sacrifices happen, and it's being guarded by 3 monsters. Now, monster cards are still under wraps, so what I've done is I'm representing these monsters only by their stats. So I've got their tokens laid out here for all 3 of the monsters. Full disclaimer, I have no idea how this fight's going to go, but let's find out. So we've got 3 hearts. So since we're faster than monsters, we get the first attack. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to use our longbow, and we're going to go ahead and shoot this guy. Now the longbow requires 2 actions, and it will grant me an order die, and it will grant me 2 common dice, and then I'm going to be using 2 of my heart in order to use the bow, because 2 heart is required to get off 1 shot. So I'll add 2 more dice. So this is it. That's my shot. Let's see how we do. Oh my God, this is terrible. So what happened is I've got 1 success and I've got 1 chaos. Those will cancel. I've got another success and another chaos. Those will cancel. And I've left with 1 last chaos, which means I was so terrified that I've completely botched the shot, and I've botched it so badly, I'm going to have to draw randomly from my botch stack. So let's see what happens. I'm going to draw a random card. I drew this one, and it says dexterous botch. It says, your shot goes bad. Reroll and apply the results to the ally nearest your target. Oh, I lucked out. So here's the botch card that I drew. And it turns out that it says that I shoot my friends, but since I'm all by myself, I get to it. Lucky,
must be an American politician.
I know. All right, so that was now I've got 1 more movement left. So actually I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna actually use my last heart, and I'm going to use that one to rearm to longsword. So now I've got my longsword ready to go. And I've also got some extra dice that I have unspent. You'll notice that I've got that the tokens are not only your hit points, they're also your actions. And I want to make sure that I have actions in reserve, because I know that the bad guys are coming, and I'm going to need strength to block. I'm going to need my mind to perceive attacks. And I'm going to need my spirit in order to make sure that I'm able to apply determination for any rerolls. Okay, so here come the monsters. This first monster is going to spend a movement token to move in and to go base to base with me. And then it's going to go ahead and do a melee attack. And so I'm going to go ahead and roll 2 dice for its melee attack, and it gets 1 success. I'm going to go ahead and now I didn't bother to use my mind to perceive the attack. Normally, what happens is you have to declare ahead of time if you're going to try to perceive the attack in advance, which means that I'll be able to use some sort of a parry or a dodge. But since I didn't declare a parry or a dodge, I've got 1 damage incoming. But fortunately, I've got some brigandine armor. And this brigandine armor gives me a defense of 4. So I can ignore that attack. So that does nothing. The next monster is going to come in, and it's also going to spend... Let's see how we do. All right, this one comes in for 3 damage. That doesn't get through my armor. And this last one also comes in. And let's see what happens. 1 damage doesn't get through my armor. So my armor has proven effective against the claws of these creatures, and I am really, really glad that is the case. All right, and so that's it for the round. I get my heart back. I get the monsters get their stuff back, and we move on to a new round. For this round, I'm going to use my longsword. I think I'm going to. My longsword requires 2 for an attack, so I'm going to spend 2. And for that, I'm going to get 4 common dice. I'm going to get 1 order die, and I'm also going to get the 2 tokens that I spent for body. So that's my sword attack right there. Let's see. Voila. Oh my God. That is terrible. So here's what happened. I've got another success. Another success and botch. I've got another success and botch, and then I've got nothing but I've got chaos remaining. So I have to draw another chaos card. This is really bizarre. I've never seen 2 botches in a row. This is great. Okay, this is a physical botch, and this physical botch says, you stumbled and twist your ankle. You have gained the slowed condition. Oh my Lord. All right, so I now have the slowed condition. That means that I now have to remove 1 of my tokens, and I have to replace it with a chaos die. So I now have a chaos token. That means I have to roll chaos die with all of my attacks. That's just great, ladies and gentlemen. That's swell. Okay.
Well, you can't fight with hurt ankle, right?
All right, let's have the monsters have a chance. So monster number 1 gets a botch, and I'm going to draw from my botch stack. Something gets in his eye, and it gets the blinded condition. So this monster now gets a botch die. And then let's see, the second monster has only 1 success, but that doesn't get through the armor. And the other one, a success and a chaos, that cancels. All right. So just to make this interesting, I realize that my armor is far too good for these creatures. Because what happens is the creatures are going to have to roll twice. So I'm actually going to make a ruling that that these creatures are joined by a boss.
Who's making the ruling? Is that a DM, or is that you adjusting the game in the fly?
I wanted to make it an interesting fight. So I'm just going to introduce an evil priest. So we'll see if the evil priest can do. And actually, for the evil priest stats, let's see. I'm going to give the evil priest. Let's see. Let's give the evil priest. I'm going to give him a. I'm going to give him a. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I changed my mind. Instead of introducing an evil priest, I'm simply going to swap out my armor. That'll be much better, because that way, let's just get rid of the armor, and I'm going to go with just a shield. All right. Now let's see if let's see how many of these hits get through, because I definitely want to make sure that I show how some of the wounding mechanics work. Okay, so that's it for that round. New round. I get back my body. I get back my stats. I'm going to keep the botches. And okay, everything is set. So on this next attack, I'm going to rearm my sword. I'm going to get on my melee attack. I've got here's my long sword. So I got my 4 common dice. I've got my 1 order die, and then I'm going to spend 2 strength. And so here's my attack. All right, now we're talking. So I've got 3 chaos. That's going to cancel. And so that's a total of 3 damage coming in. And I'm going to attack, that guy's already kind of mangled. I'm going to go ahead and attack him. So with 3 damage coming in, the monster basically gets to choose. And so I'm going to resolve from weakest to strongest. We're going to get rid of 1, 2, 3. Those are wounds. Those are gone. Those go to the void. And the monster still has some hit points left, but as you can see, and it still hits hard. it still has both of its attacks. So we'll see how that affects the fight. First monster is going to come in with its 2 attacks and lands 3. My shield only has 2 dice, so I'm going to go ahead and roll my defense. That only got rid of one of the attacks. So I actually took a point of damage, and I will take that from my mind. So that goes to the void. Next monster comes in with its attacks. Again, 3 damage. This time, I think I'm actually going to I'm going to spend some insight so that I can actually do a reaction. For my reaction, I'm going to spend a body into a shield block. And now I'm going to get my shield skill as well. So I will get this plus my body die, and that's going to be my shield block. And it's a good thing. I've got 3 successes. So my 3 successes cancels it. I successfully block. Hooray. And then the last monster comes in. I don't have any more strength left for shield block, so I'm hoping and praying it goes wide. Oh, look at that! It only does 1 damage. I think that my shield's casual presence will be able to handle that. It does. That blocks. So no active shield block required, and the round is over. I'll get back my stuff. And oh, crackers! I forgot to roll my twisted ankle die. I'll do that on the next attack. So once again, we've got 4 common dice, 1 order die, 2 body dice, and I have to swap out one of the body dice because I have a twisted ankle, and that twisted ankle is going to remain until the end of this fight. Let's see how we do. Ugh, terrible. Well, actually, no, not that bad. So, success and chaos, that cancels, but I still have 3 successes, and I'm going to attack the same monster. So what happens is the monster loses a body, it loses 1 of its mind, and then it loses 1 of its spirit. Now, one of the effects of when you lose spirit is that it becomes enraged. So this monster is now going to stay for the fight, but it doesn't really have much left. But it's not going anywhere. Now the monster's turn. So this wounded monster, who is blinded, only has 1 token left to spend, and it has to be a chaos die. So it swings wildly and gets a double botch. So that's why it really sucks to get a chaos die. I'm going to draw randomly, and it says, you become winded, gain the fatigued condition. So now it gets an additional chaos die. If it could roll 2 dice, it would roll 2 chaos dice, but it only has 1 left. So, well, suffice to say that monster is just really in a bad way. Next monster comes in, lands with 3. I didn't declare anything, so I'm going to actually, gosh, no, I have 1 mind to spend. I'm going to declare 3. I'm going to declare shield block on this one, and I have to substitute out my body for a chaos die because I have a twisted ankle. But it's okay. I've got 1 chaos and 2 successes, so I was able to block 1 damage. Unfortunately, I'm going to still take 2. So I'm going to take 1 from spirit, and I'll take 1 from heart. Last monster comes in, and gets a botch. I'll draw a random card. This card says, something gets in your eye, gain the blinded condition. Looks like he also gets a chaos die. And all of a sudden, this fight is not going well because I've already lost 2 wounds, 3 wounds. Holy crackers. And so I'm going to, I'll go 1 more round. How are we doing on time?
You've got good engagement. You've got some good questions. I think that this is really demonstrating the game.
Well, I love it. Let's finish the fight. So here we go. I've still got my twisted ankle. I'm going to go ahead and holy bajolies, that's a good hit. So that is, these two cancel out, and I've got 4 successes. I think I'm going to go ahead and just, ooh, gosh, gravy. I'm going to actually wound. I'm going to go for a fresh monster to take him down. So that's some serious wounds to this fresh monster here. All right, the monsters get to attack back. We've got this guy here who gets only 1 success. I'm going to go ahead and use the passive shield block is good enough. Here, this monster only gets 1 hit. I'm going to use a passive shield block. My shield gets in the way. And this one actually gets 2 dice. 2 hits. Passive shield block. It's good enough. So I survived that round. Everything resets. We're good. Okay, 1 mighty sword attack right here. And let's see if I can kill one of these guys. Oh my god, a whiff. Look at that. Success and chaos, nothing. Now here come the monsters. This guy comes in, nothing. This guy comes in. I'm going to block that with my shield. It blocks. This guy comes in with, he's got a blinded condition. 2 successes. Oh, this is gonna suck. Passive shield block, but my shield is good enough. So again, nothing. My armor proves that round. So new round, everything resets. I'm going to spend 2 body on the attack again. So I've got. Oh gosh, you know what? I think I forgot to add my extra body that last round because I'm going so fast. That's what happened. So 2 body, but I'm still got my twisted ankle. Let's see what happens. Not great. So I've got some chaos and some successes. Those cancel out. 2 damage remaining. I'm going to apply it against this monster, and I'm just going to kill him dead and take him out of the fight. He is dead. So that mini gets removed.
I can't wait to play this up at camp on a rainy night or a rainy day.
Absolutely. I think that this is going to be so much fun, and you'll find that when the dice start flying and the rounds, you start getting into your rounds. Oh, I took some damage that round. No! Where's it going to come from?
That excitement's going to be so awesome with, friends and family on the other side of the table or, virtually.
Okay. If I lose my last token of mind, I'm going to get I'll get the berserk condition. And if I lose my last token of spirit, I'm going to get the terrified condition. So here I have to choose. This is really interesting. This is what I wanted to show you guys because this is a fight and flight mechanic. When you lose your last spirit, you become terrified. Here I'm going to become berserk. You know what? No, I'm pot committed. I'm going to finish this fight. So this guy's claw rakes across my brow, blood gets into my eyes, and I am seeing red. And all I can think of is I'm going to kill these guys. So I lose my last mind for this fight. I now have the berserk condition, which means I cannot run away. All right, new round. Everything resets, and because I'm in a rage, I can no longer use insight to know if anything's coming in. So I'm going to apply my body. I still have a twisted ankle. There's my attack. Let's see what happens. Oh, this is not great. Okay, these will cancel out. That means 2 get through. I'm going to apply it to this guy. But fortunately, this is great. That applies against his mind, which is his enraged, his berserk trigger. And the last one goes against his spirit, which goes against his flight trigger. So this one runs away. All right, we'll take him off the board. So there's only 1 monster left, and this monster comes back with claws. 2 hits. I'm going to use. I no longer can detect any shots coming in because I'm enraged, but my passive shield holds up. My the tokens I spent reset, and then I'm going to go ahead and spend two more for this round. I'm going to use my sword. There's my attack. Oh, and it's just a nick. Only one gets through, but I'll go ahead and apply it to the monster, and he'll lose a mind. Okay, monster comes back with claws and whiffs hard. In fact, gets a double botch. I'm going to draw randomly from my deck. He gets, you lose your grip. Drop anything held in your right hand. This time, the lawyer sides in favor of the monster, which has claws. He can't drop anything. So the monster escapes a botch. That's great. Monster came back with claws. The round is over. We reset. I've got my sword ready to go. I'm going to spend my body. I'm going to come in with my blade. Oh, that's a good hit. Look at that. That's a great hit. I think this is going to be the end. Chaos and success, that cancels, and I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 6. A massive blow. And here's how it happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It loses its last heart, which means it gains the unconscious condition, and the monster collapses. The fight's over. All right.
Wow, that was a really I haven't seen that before, and boy, I have a lot of questions. I mean, first off is when can I play it?
Awesome. Well, I think I can address that. We are looking for a Q1. We're looking for a Q1 for our token sale and for our Kickstarter. The Kickstarter is probably going to follow the token sale by about a month. Our plans are to use the raise from the token sale so that we can engage a marketing team to help us with the Kickstarter, and we are determined to make sure that we have done a robust round of alpha testing in advance of the token sale to make sure that we've got all of our numbers right and that all of the cards are balanced, because we want to make sure that the game is as close to shipping as possible. Before we do any of our NFT sales, because we want to make sure that anything that we sell to the community is good to go. So we're pushing all of our art tasks and flavor text and all of the design tasks out to all of the game design is going to be locked down probably by December. And the game we are planning on shipping Q2 of 2021.
So Q1, you've got your NFT token sale. Probably a month later, going to look at a Kickstarter. And then Q2, the game will be shipped. So that means before my birthday, come July 5th. Nice. That's really awesome. Now, I want to explore a little bit about. I just hit a button there and screwed up the stream, but we're back. I wanted to explore and get a better understanding of the NFT connection and the NFT sale, pre-sale that you have coming up Q1. Because from what I understand correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong here, that I'm going to have an opportunity as a holder of Soul tokens to go and purchase some very rare items that are going to be in this game and then let out in the wild once the game is sold. So that could potentially be a good investment on my part if this game is going to get big. And the other aspect is how does this tabletop game tie into the blockchain and the digital world?
Those are great questions. So I think Joseph, I'm going to let you handle question number 2. I'll handle question number 1. So question number 1 is what are we going to be offering to our community and to our fans? That's going to be some of the most amazing and rare magic items that are available in the game. Normally, you will be purchasing card packs. Card packs, if you're buying a common pack, it's going to have 3 common cards and then a chance for the third and the fourth and fifth card to be perhaps a rare card. If you're buying a rare pack, or if you're buying an epic pack or a legendary pack, then the odds increment so that you're guaranteed to get a rare card, you're guaranteed to get a legendary card, you're guaranteed to get an epic card. And we're going to be offering these rare, epic, and legendary cards for direct purchase to help us raise money for this game. And these are going to be things that you're going to be able to use as part of your game, things that will be available to you to find as part of the resolution of the adventure when you get to the end of the adventure and you get that big heist of treasure. And then these items will help your characters as they take on new adventure paths.
So sorry to interrupt. I just looking for some clarity so I can further understand that I could buy these very rare items that are, and then if I'm an NFT collector, when the game does go live, I could either play the game and then go and find them into the game, which is going to have, a certain percentage and very difficult, or I can go and buy it from an NFT collector in Ghost Market, for example.
Exactly. You see, I'm such a gamer. I'm like, oh, how's this going to help my character? But absolutely, these are a limited run series of items. You've got your the rares are going to have several thousands, and then the epics are going to be a few hundred. The legendaries are going to be like less. And then we might even auction off a unique item as well. Don't know yet. We're also going to be publishing our rarity schedule so that the community will know exactly how rare these things are, because we want our community to understand what the value of the cards, and when we auction them off, we'll be introducing them at the minimum bid will be prorated with a very, very generous discount, so that and we'll be calculating how many card packs do you have to open to get this thing. Okay, and then we'll figure out what that number is, and then we're going to do a massive discount on that prorated calculation. Offer that as a minimum bid, and then allow our fans to bid on the cards so that they can help us to raise money to make the game.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And you are going to have people in the community that are going to know all those numbers. They did it for 22 Racing Series, and it's an exciting time. So, at the beginning of last year, we had a lot of that excitement in Phantasma, and now we're going to experience it again with Blood Rune. And Joseph, leading into your question, how actually
why?
Yeah, NFT, and there's also another question being asked in the group here. Can you also play this game fully digital? So why don't you address both of those questions?
Yeah, for sure. So we're creating a digital version of the game, and we're also creating like a compendium app, so that compendium app that you have on your phone or your tablet or whatever, that can connect the physical gameplay with the digital gameplay. So you can have a physical session yourself at home and play with somebody via the companion app who's playing it on a computer at their home, for example. So that's one of the reasons why we needed NFTs, as well as the collector's aspect of it. You have rare cards. We want that to be in the control of the player or the collector. And the NFTs, guarantee that. And we have a direct link with the physical cards and the digital cards. So what you have at your digital wallet, your Phantasma wallet, is what you will have in your physical collection. So we'll set up a system where you can basically order the collection that you have in your wallet as physical cards. So yeah, that's one of the key mechanics that we needed to solve, and NFTs solve that problem, and Phantasma just ticks all the boxes for the blockchain aspect. So yeah, that's why we chose Phantasma and NFTs. So
that's awesome. A couple of things, guys. If you're asking questions in these live events, please ask them in the section that says ask a question, and then you can vote on those questions, and that prioritizes the questions for us. I see that there was some in the chat box, so I'm trying to get through them and get everything here. But Joseph, what happened to your hair? That's from John.
What happened to my hair? Yeah.
And the beard too, huh? John was asking that.
I shaved it all today. Yeah, looking fresh for the AMA. So
I didn't get the memo.
I was planning to go. Nah, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, but I do want to get one of those Blood Rune shirts one day.
Yeah.
Oh,
sure.
Well,
yeah.
Sure.
We'll have a merch shop.
So. Those too.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to do that, and
yeah.
I quickly want to share this story. I know we're running into time, so I'll keep this one under 60 seconds. But Saturday night, I spent a night with my girlfriend, and we, got some red wine and, some nice cheese, and just had a nice evening. And we pulled out our stack of CDs. And, there are probably 300-400 different CDs that are in the envelopes and the cases. And we'd pull the CD out and throw it into the CD player and listen to 3 or 4 songs and have conversations about the band and pull that out and actually physically touch and feel it. And, when we're talking about NFT technology and for musicians, that's kind of a concept that NFTs or blockchains are being able to bring as a new connection. And, growing up in the year, throughout the last two decades and having a son that's 15 years old, Joseph, what you're starting to have to go through, you're in a whole different world of this growing up with technology. But us as parents are also having to, and I think about this a lot, that, how am I going to get my child to connect differently, and, hockey and all these different things that go on. And this game here reminds me of Saturday night, of pulling out those CDs, taking a hybrid of 2 technologies, but yet the most important thing in human connection is nonverbal communication. We know that 93% of our communication is not the words that we say. It's our tonality, the tone of our voice, and the physiology. And this game brings those 2 components into the game itself, the tonality and physiology that you don't have with a traditional video game, which I think is just awesome. We got another question here. What's the minimum number of players for an effective game? Do games have to be played to a finish, or can they be turned based off if 2 players are playing online in a different part of the world?
The game will satisfy 2 to 8 players. 8 is the maximum sweet spot. Realistically, though, it can be infinite. I mean, if all of your players have core sets, then you'll arguably you could do up to 20. I mean, it's an RPG, which means the party size is limitless, but there is a sweet spot. So if you want to actually finish during a lunch break, it's got to be less than 8 players. And it is a legacy game, which means, if you want to do a quick fight like the one I demonstrated, that's 10 minutes. If you wanted to do something that is more like just a legendary game, you can do that too. You should know that there is an aging mechanic in the game. So you are compelled to go out in the world, make your fortune, but then you need to, the game has families that are warring against one another. And early in the game, you're going to be serving your family and then trying to elevate your family's reputation and esteem. For other players, if you're not a landed knight, if you're a wizard, you're going to be elevating your wizard's covenant. If you're a priest, you're going to be elevating your church. If you're a druid, you're going to be elevating your circle. So there's any different number of organizations that you're going to be helping. Eventually, your character is going to grow old and feeble. your goal is to take on apprentices, to train them, and then ultimately when you die, and you can die of old age, after roughly 60 or 80 sessions, then it becomes the blood legacy of your progeny to carry on the work that you have started. And a lot of the stuff that your character has collected over the ages will be passed down to your children, or to your squires, or to your apprentice, and they will carry on your good works or evil works.
Wow, that's awesome. That's yeah. I'm just stoked. I got so much running through my head and thinking this through, and next Christmas, this is going to be under a lot of trees. For Christmas time for children. It's going to be great. John, thank you very much, man, for all the questions. Appreciate the engagement. These are some really good questions, and he asks, why should a player choose Blood Rune and not another game? And I'll let you guys answer that. I pretty much have a very simple, straight answer to that because there's nothing else like it. But you guys have put a lot more thought into this, so what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I will simply argue that if you are trying to have a meaningful role-playing game experience in a short amount of time, there's no game that does it. If you are looking for a collectible card game that is tabletop and digital, that is linked to the blockchain, no other game does it.
No.
If you're looking for the most compelling, badass backstory that has yet to hit the market, I don't think that any other game does it. We've been teasing a lot of our backstory on the Twitters and on the internets, but I think that we only scratched the surface. There's just we have our lead writer has written for Pathfinder projects, and he is just amazing, and he's got some crazy ideas that I can't wait to share with all of our fans.
Wow, that's exciting, and I'm not committing to anything right now, and I'm not asking you guys to commit to anything. But I did have a conversation with Joseph in regards to getting your artist on an AMA after our minting store goes live, and talk a little bit about the digital art and that element of it. And here I'm sitting here listening to you guys, and you've been a part of creating some of the biggest, most successful games in recent history, and are highly sought out.
Yeah, well, we got guys on the team that worked for a lot of really interesting companies. Activision, Call of Duty.
Wow.
Disney. Yeah, so we have a pretty solid team. I think I'm the only one without game industry experience, but I'm a gamer myself, and I've been playing competitively for a long time. When I was younger, like Counter-Strike, World of Warcraft, all this stuff. I was always a PvPer, so I was competitive. But love playing games. Just don't have that much time anymore, So this game is just a perfect match for that.
Well, you're a really smart man, and have really provided a lot of value to Phantasma, and I'm excited, Joseph, to be a part of your dream here, your story. Joining up and recognizing the talent behind all of this, and bringing a hybrid concept and elements of humanity that just don't exist.
Well, I'd like to say that Joseph is kind of our secret because he's got an incredible depth of experience in the chain, which is absolutely critical for this game. But we also have other really amazing people on the team. Our director of operations, Xavier Torres, has worked for Disney and Treyarch. Our lead artist, Chad Coleman, worked for EA, Disney, Marvel, and Activision. And our writer, Justice Mora, has worked for Paizo and Fat Goblin. So we've just got a rock star team that's making this come to life, and I'm so proud of them.
Yeah. And just like, guys, this concept has been around, this vision for nearly a decade, maybe even slightly a little bit more. And because of the Phantasma technology, they're able to do this. And that's what Phantasma is ultimately brought to the table. And I don't care how you start peeling the layers back. Today, there's no technology that is second or next to Phantasma. Whether it's the multitude, I don't know, handful of other gaming blockchains that are out there, and what we're able to do in terms of the speed and the cost is fantastic. So guys, we've really covered a lot today. Really slammed down a lot of information into people's throats, and I just kind of want to have a quick little recap here of what we talked about and what's going to happen. And we've had an opportunity here to see Blood Rune, a tabletop legacy role-playing game that's a hybrid of the digital world and the real world, that carries NFTs along with it. They're going to be having their NFT pre-sale at the beginning of 2021, sometime in Q1, as well as a Kickstarter launch after that. Think about that. This is going to be an opportunity for the Phantasma community to invest into some rare NFT items before any marketing. And if there's a rule in stock trading that I was taught, was buy the hype, sell the news. And
sorry, Kickstarters, you're not going to get the best stuff.
No. So keep an eye out for it. And, here I'm going to take accountability. I've got to be able to throw on our AMA partners' socials onto the screen, which I don't have set up. So shame on me for that. We'll get that corrected. But on that note, please follow them on Twitter. You can just do a search for Blood Rune, as spelled RUNE. And
it's Blood Rune TCG.
I say that, TCG, yep. And I say that because I was calling it wrong, called Blood Rune. And Joseph said, no, it's Blood Rune. Oh, runes. I get it now.
Oh, fun fact. The Blood Rune, which is our logo, is the alchemical symbol for blood.
Oh, there you go. Did not know that. So, check them out on Twitter. They've also got a Telegram group. And, Joseph, you just want to verbally share that. But we'll have that.
At Blood Rune on Telegram.
Yeah, there you go. And that will give you some further insights. But, of course, with the launch of this, they'll be very active inside the Phantasma Chain Telegram group as well.
So do we want to answer some questions? I see there's a lot of them. A couple more maybe? Are we good on time or not?
We could keep going. My time is fine. I just want to be conscious of others. I thought we had gotten all the questions. I see there's one more question here about, can I use rare items only once? Other than that, there may have been questions. Joseph, I noticed you were active in the chat, and I could scroll through.
Yeah.
Why don't you address the ones in the chat? Yeah.
Yeah, question about the starter pack.
The first question about rare items. Once you have an artifact is yours to use. It may have limited daily charges, but these artifacts will refresh. So you can use them multiple times. And we're also planning a crafting mechanic. So even if you're not able to get a hold of rare items, you're going to be able to be active in the marketplace. So, for example, if you have a character that has discovered an alchemical font that produces, for example, dark copper, then you'll be able to actually sell that dark copper to the community. And you'll have a finite number of charges that you can use in any calendar year, but you can actually sell those as rare magic components to the community, because we're going to have. This is another reason why we needed the blockchain, because we needed a mechanism that can help us regulate how often some rare items can spawn new elements. And with a card game, you can't do that. So, so you'll be able to sell you'll be able to sell whatever your artifacts spawn to the community, and you'll also be able to lend out your services, so that if somebody needs to access a rare magic item, for example, they need the Skull of the Prophet in order to answer the question that is going to give them the secret of some prophecy. They need to solve an adventure. They might go out to the community and ask, hey, does anybody have a Skull of the Prophet? I have a really important question I have to ask. Whoever owns that can then say, I have the Skull of the Prophet, and for the right amount of money, I will lend my services to you. So we think that there's going to be a lot of activity surrounding.
Wow, yeah, that's an economy in itself, man.
Yes.
Be able to lease items and.
Exactly. So I mean, yeah, we'll have that on the marketplace. We'll have the Discords, the Telegram, whatever. We're building a community and where everybody can barter and talk about adventures and come up with scenarios together. And I think it'll be fun. So we're really looking forward to getting it in your hands, guys.
Yeah. Coffee had just asked a question in the chat group. Did you get a starter deck? Is that one you wanted to address?
Yeah. So he asked, do people get a starter deck, or is purchase needed before you can play? So
that's a great question.
We have a starter deck for sure, and the idea there is for the starter deck is that we pre-mint those. And when somebody buys like the pack in the store, they get the key to that to those cards. So that way, anybody who has never touched blockchain before, they buy the starter pack, they automatically get set up with a wallet with the starter cards in it, and they don't even have to go through the difficulties of getting Sol, getting KCal, getting Bitcoin, Ethereum, anything. They just get the wallet with the stuff in it, and we'll take care of all the transactions and all of that. So it will be a seamless experience. So
that's great.
Yeah,
man.
And then we have the card packs, as StJohn explained. So
wow, yeah. It's like the guy that won second place for Godey's tournament. And I was chatting with him, and I'd mentioned Phantasma, and he won a bunch of Sol, and was given a wallet. And so, what's Phantasma? I said, "Oh, that's the blockchain that 22 series runs on." He goes, "Blockchain? What's that?" And he says, "I just pick up the game and I just play it." And I thought that was a beautiful, beautiful thing, because that gave social proof to the product itself, and that's the same position you guys are in. That your players are not going to have to be concerned about the blockchain technology behind them, and they could get into the game for fiat and play it with regular cash. And actually, on that note, do you have price points? Have you thought about price points for a starter pack yet, or is that?
It's too early for us to really know how much the starter kit is going to cost.
Yeah.
Because the number of cards that are inside the kit are still fluctuating, but we know that it's going to probably be somewhere between $50 and $70 for a starter kit.
Oh wow!
And that starter kit it's comparable to a video game. And when you get the starter kit, that is going to be enough for a couple of players. And if you want to add 5, 7, 15 more players onto all you have to do is you don't have to buy the game again. You just buy a player pack. The player pack is going to have all the cards you need to get additional players into your gaming group. And those are going to be much cheaper because it has a fraction of the cards required. And then the cards that are going to be in the card packs are going to be the rare things, the monsters, the spells, all the things that are going to be finding along your adventure path. We're also planning on shipping every single season new adventure pads. The adventure pads are going to be campaigns. Our initial campaign is going to be set in the Iron Age, and this is swords and sorcery, and and that is an homage to Dungeons and Dragons, all the great sword and sorcery games out there. But we're also going to have other expansion packs that are going to be taking place in other regions of the world, in other time periods, and all of these will be cross-compatible.
Wow, man, that's I'm super excited to see it come out and go through the experience. And I think that price point, I was visualizing it was going to be 3 figures, US dollars, over 100. Well, when you start thinking about D&D and what's required, and then I'm in the business of marketing. I was in the business of shipping before, so now you've got a whole different element of logistics that I don't know if you've got experience in, but that's shipping and printing, and that's an industry in itself. You got to get a lot of the stuff created and sent out. So good luck with that. I'm glad you already don't have any hair, because the shipping business is a challenge.
Well, no, it turns out I've already got lots of experience in that industry as well. I got my master's in printmaking, and then I spent my first gig before I went to Square. I was a lead artist at a company handling all the offset printing stuff. So I'd have to go down to the print shop with my magnifying glass. I'd have to inspect all the proofs and then okay them before they went off to press. So offset printing is a thing that is actually near and dear to me.
Oh, that's awesome. And you're an impressive man, StJohn. Good stuff.
Kind thanks.
Well, it's kind of like working with the Phantasma team and guys like Joseph. It's just the stuff that's brought to the table is pretty awesome. So I guess on that note, we don't have any more questions, and we've covered everything that we wanted to cover. Gameplay, the history, the future, the NFT sale, Kickstarter, and of course game launch and price points for it. If we don't have any more questions, I think this will be coming to the end of this AMA. Do you guys have anything additional you'd like to throw in before we hit the stop button?
Well, I'd like to start by saying profound thanks for having us, and I will share something that I always share with my students, and that is that we're standing on the shoulders of giants. I cannot express how fortunate I feel to be living in the digital age, which was pioneered by some incredible people, to be working in games, an industry that was pioneered by some brilliant minds, and to be working with Phantasma and with my team, because each and every one of us, we are experts in our own rights in our respective fields. And so I just feel really, really profoundly blessed to be at this moment, at this time.
Yeah. Can't top that, so. But definitely, I also want to say thanks to thanks for having us, and thanks to the community that showed up, and we look forward to the NFT sale and what's coming. So very excited.
Yeah, there is. I think the Phantasma community will sway some of this excitement before once these
they're great,
self-minting is launched. But awesome dudes. Good stuff, guys. Sure. These guys are highly accessible. We went through where you can find them. They are on Twitter. They have their own Telegram group. Joseph is a part of Phantasma Force. You can find them in Telegram. Go ahead and ask questions. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.